you need to shut the fuck up.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
Broadcasting live from the basement of the Pentagon. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Tuesday, and it's August 29th. Holy fuck balls. And Minx down there is Grey Cloud, who needs to point his camera just a little bit north.
North?
Yeah, like up, because, the top of your head is cut off. There we go. There we go.
Yeah, it's probably breaking or something.
Mo better. Ugh. If I seem out of it and really loopy tonight, I apologize. I have been taking allergy medication and muscle relaxers, so I'm fucking just out of it. But the show goes on, and I can't call in sick, so here I am.
Good, and I could run the show again.
No, I already gave you that privilege last week.
We were successful. We didn't burn it down.
Not yet.
Give me one more go at it, I might.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. Criminally. So, exciting week for you? Exciting weekend?
I mean, the hurricane came through, and I'm pretty sure that's what's causing my allergies to just decide to kill me. Just because all the rain and wind and shit and just stirring everything up. Sudafed has barely touched it, and so I took one Benadryl 4 hours ago, and I'm just woo. My head's all fucking over the place. But yeah, so I'm really sorry if I sneeze a lot, because that's been going on all nonstop today. And I did something to my back. I fucking getting old.
Really?
Yeah.
Really think you're getting old?
I am, because as you can see, there's furniture in the background that was not there as of last week. So I think that's how I hurt my back. Hi, Zeus. Yes. That's Zeus. But yeah, so yeah, exactly, Anthony. Wake up. I'm trying. That's why I put mascara on and makeup, because I was I'm not gonna subject people to sick Minx face, because that's not cute at all. So this is me attempting to, I don't know, be presentable, I guess would be a good description. Not even fully awake, but you know what? I'm presentable in a way. Does that make sense? How was your weekend?
Weekend was pretty good. Another weekend of traveling and school.
Nice.
But yeah, it was pretty uneventful other than that. Moving some items up to my new location, and that should be closed out this week. And yeah, that's about my week. So, and there's rain here today, which sucks.
Yeah, rain sucks for you. Really?
Yeah,
Really? You want to talk about rain right now? I'm in Texas. Yeah, the brunt of the hurricane. I'm far enough. Obviously, I'm far enough away from Houston that there is no major flooding going on. But we did get a shit ton of rain and flash flood warnings. which didn't happen. I was so prepared too.
Did you have a boat ready?
No, I did, however, stop by the liquor store. It's a true story. Yeah, no, like, fuck food. Like, I'm not gonna wait in line. And, like, apparently the lines at, like, the H-E-B here in Killeen were stupid long. Like, all the bread was off the shelves. All the fucking bottled water was gone. And meanwhile, I'm over here. I'm like, I'm gonna go to Specs. Like, all you people need to learn how to prepare for a hurricane. So I bought myself a liter of Captain Morgan private stock, a liter of Jameson,
a liter of cola.
No, and 3 bottles of red wine.
How long do you think you're gonna be like have to hunker down for?
Dude, you don't know. You have to be prepared.
Yes, that's like a good scout.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was ready.
apparently so.
Yeah, I was gonna get just drunk with my dogs because
entertain pirates as they float by.
Fuck yeah! I mean, especially if the streets were to flood, fuck yeah, I was gonna be a pirate. Like, find myself like a pool floaty and like just in my little bottle of Captain Morgan and be like, yar.
Totally see that. Totally can see it.
It's something that would happen. I would want to bring one of the dogs too, but no. I think
swim for themselves.
Yeah. Well, Jenna hates water, so all weekend she was getting pissed because the grass is wet.
Oh.
And so I'd let her outside, right? Because she's whining because she has to use the bathroom. And she knows better than to use the bathroom in the house because she knows she'll get in trouble. Right? Hi, Apollo. Yes, I'm talking about your mother. And so she's such a fucking diva the Huskies hate water, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's definitely prevalent with her. So I'd let her outside and she would like go out onto the little concrete patio I have and stand there, see that it was raining, and then look back at me like, are you going to do something about this? Like, make it stop. Like, why is the grass wet? Why is it raining? Fix this. I'm like, I don't know what you want me to do, dog. Like, I can't fucking control the weather. My powers aren't that strong. So, I don't know what to tell you. And like, it got to the point where she would literally just put her back end off the side of the patio and like from underneath the overhang and like would use the bathroom that way. I was like, oh, you're that much of a princess. Okay. She's right. She's right here next to me too. Hi, Jenna. Yeah. And then Apollo, he thought it was the best thing ever. There he is. Hi, Apollo. Hey, come here. Come say hi. He thought it was the best thing ever. He loves the rain and the water, and he tries to join me whenever I shower. Because, personal space is no longer a thing in my house.
Oh, what a great day it is for you then.
Oh yeah, no, it's great. And yeah, but friggin'. So I know you watch Game of Thrones.
Oh Lord, I can neither confirm nor deny.
I know that you do.
An accurate statement.
I know that you do though. Like I have it on I wouldn't say like first-hand knowledge. However, my little birds tell me, and they're a very fucking reliable source, that you watch Game of Thrones.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
I mean, but you can. Anyways, did you... What?
But I won't. Anyways.
But yeah, did you see the finale?
Yes.
See, so you do watch it. All I'm gonna say is like, okay, spoilers for all you bitches who haven't seen it yet. Oh my god, now I'm blanking because I'm fucking loopy as fuck. When Sandor Clegane, right? Spanky. I went over to Spanky's house.
Ma'am.
I went over to Spanky's house to watch it. When fucking the Hound kicked that box down because, you know, the White hadn't, you know, done shit, I was about to, like, on the verge of a goddamn anxiety attack. Like, oh, great, this thing's not even going to be animated anymore. It's going to have died, like, for real, and it's just going to be a pile of bones, and they're fucked. But Spanky will tell you I jumped.
I jumped. I think we all jumped.
Fine. You know better than that.
No, like, I was literally anxiety over that. And then again with when they tore the wall down with Ice Viserion, again I got pissed because I'm like, my Ginger better not fucking die. Tormund better not fucking die. But yeah.
And we don't know.
I know. Like,
We don't know.
and I'm just highly upset that we
You just have to wait till the next whenever.
Dude, that could be in like 2 years.
Well, that sucks.
You're such a dick.
First world problems.
Right? Yeah, no, for real though.
Whew.
Fucking first world problems. But yeah. So, so like I've been seeing all these, like, especially for Texas, like they're popping up on Facebook, like, mark that you're safe from Hurricane Harvey. And I'm like, all right. Because literally my family has been blowing up my phone. Like, are you okay? Like, how bad's the flooding? And I've had to send them maps of Texas and be like, Houston's here. All the way the fuck up here is clean. I was like, I'm fine. I'm good. So I had to mark myself safe on that thing, but
You told me you were in a submarine underwater.
right, I know. Have you seen pictures of fucking Harvey?
Yeah, I've seen some of the photos. It's pretty bad all around.
Freaking yeah, no, it's ridiculous how much water there is. Like they I know earlier today they were saying that it was around 49.32 inches of rain, and 50 is the nation record for rainfall. And they're assuming, especially because Harvey is going to be going into Louisiana and then making a turn south back into the Gulf, and then is expected to hit Houston one more time. So we're like, we haven't seen the last of this fucking storm. Like, this is getting a bit ridiculous.
No, that happened with another hurricane several years back, but it was Florida that got the brunt of it. It came in from the Atlantic side of Florida, swung into the Gulf, gained some power, and then turned right back towards Florida, and then went up the coast, I do believe.
Like, right now I've got pictures going of, you know, just the massive amount of flooding that is going on right now. And, like, houses are getting submerged. It's so bad. But, oh. But yeah, so, friggin', that's...
Rains in the Cedar Bayou near Bellevue, Texas, reached 51.88 inches.
Oh, so it has broken the record.
Daylight time. That's a record for both Texas and the continental United States.
That's ridiculous. Freaking,
So,
I know there's a bunch of units from Fort Hood that have mobilized and have headed out to go down and help. So,
yeah, they're tracking approximately 30,000. Is what I think we were seeing some stuff on the main page about.
30,000 troops?
Yeah.
Jenna.
So we'll be keeping that up on the main page. Watch for updates on the main page, guys. We'll keep everybody posted of what's going on and the latest with it there as well.
Yeah. But it's
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It's very, very bad. Apparently, a Florida professor tweeted that Texas deserved Hurricane Harvey.
I saw that.
Because, Texas is a notoriously and, historically red state. We vote fucking Republican. Yes, we do have counties that vote Democrat and are blue, but the majority of the state is red. And so a visiting University of Tampa professor of sociology was fired Tuesday after he suggested in a tweet Sunday that Texans deserved Hurricane Harvey because of their support for President Trump in the 2016 election. University spokesman Eric Cardenas said that in a statement that Kenneth Story was fired after the school weathered an outpouring of online outrage over the comments. Officials said other faculty in the sociology department would take over Story's classes. Story tweeted on Sunday, quote, "I don't believe in instant karma, but this feels kind of like it for Texas," according to Campus Reform. Hopefully this will help them realize the GOP doesn't care about them. Really? You're gonna fucking turn this into something about politics? Who the fuck does that?
That's what everybody does. They take a natural disaster or something like this of magnitude and they turn it into politics.
And then I saw a picture of a tweet from Charitable Humanitarians or something like that, who said that they were not going to be sending any funds to Texas because it's a red state.
So there'll be a lot of people out of a job.
Yeah, they tweeted that or whatever, and I saw that and I was like, good, we don't want your fucking money. If that's your attitude and if the only way to receive any sort of aid from you is to have the same views as you, fuck it. I don't fucking need your money. I don't need your fucking help. You can fucking take a broom and shove it up your ass.
So while we're on this topic really quick.
Oh, go on.
There is I'm trying to find the article exactly. So usually funding from this gets released right away. It's never an issue and it's never politically motivated. However, they are looking to tie emergency funding to help with recovery and to fund FEMA for Harvey. They want to tie it to the upcoming budget fight, i.e. raising the debt ceiling and getting money funding for the government. If they do that, them congressmen are going to write themselves a death sentence for their political careers. Try and tie emergency funding for relief to those individuals who need it, and they should be out of a fucking job. Now, the one item I like, if Nation you're not aware, it's called a line item veto. There's another phrase for it. But if they did that, in theory, when the bill comes across the president's desk, he could veto everything out of that bill but the funding for Harvey and sign it that way. And then if Congress wanted to, they'd have to get 2/3 majority vote in both houses to overturn that and get the whole bill passed. Good luck with that piece.
Right? Good Lord.
And that's why you have lawyers and whatnot.
Yeah.
And for them to go through that funding bill, if that's what they choose to do. And Trump's like, no, I'm going to line item veto everything but the funding.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully that's something that gets done then.
Yeah, I mean, it would be it would be stupid Congress to try and tie it to the other funding fight. They should literally just start throwing up money for the Harvey situation.
I will say though that like there's 3 organizations that have just absolutely blown my mind as far as sending relief efforts. One is HEB, which is a local like Texas food chain or like grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
They freaking have stepped up to the plate. I think starting on Sunday or even Monday. Like I know definitely yesterday, but I think Sunday as well. They were sending down trailers upon trailers of food and water down to the affected areas. And then another one is Buc-ee's, which is a Texas gas station chain. It's kind of like Love's, but better because it's Texas, and their mascot is a beaver. No, true story. And then the third one is the Cajun Navy that like came pouring in from Louisiana. Like all these guys came in with their fucking 4x4s and their fucking boats, and they're going out there helping to rescue people. The fucked up part is that the looters have
shit.
Huh?
They got shot at, right?
Yeah, the looters have already started like going through the abandoned houses and everything and all the abandoned neighborhoods, and they're shooting at people trying to fucking rescue people who are stranded because, you know, reasons.
Yep. Because people are assholes.
Yeah.
Now, so while we're on this whole topic of politics and people being assholes, I want to read something to the nation quick.
Okay.
Bear with me a second, nation. I got to pull it up here.
No worries.
We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posteriors, do ordain and establish this Constitution of the United States of America. Now, nation, take that bit, apply it to everything else, and come together. Right? This is not a time for politics. This is not a time for they did this or the GOP did that or the Democrats did this. Fucking put all that aside, because what I just read is what it's about. And if you don't know what that is, that's the preamble to the United States Constitution. And that's all I've got to say about that.
Right.
Let's continue.
WTF Nation Radio, you're on the air. Who is this?
Hello, good evening.
Hi.
Park Ranger. What's going on, guys?
Not much. How are you?
I'm all right. Just wanted to, send goodwill. I know at least one of you is caught within Texas, so glad to see that at least you guys are doing okay. Hope everything's all right. Honestly, I was listening in on Xbox when you guys are talking about, the politics of everything involved, and a major factor that goes into federal funding, especially after a disaster declaration, is effectively a tax write-off. So the main reason why a lot of these states, especially the big ones like New York, Texas, California, it doesn't even need to be a huge disaster that would overwhelm the city and municipal authority, right? The main factor here is expenses. So as soon as you get the disaster declaration, FEMA is effectively going to whatever expenses that they incur. So they may have their own money at the side, but they won't need to access that because of the disaster declaration. So whatever resources are going to be used, whatever hours of OT with your responders there, it's going to be paid for by the federal government. So that's why they always try and get that declaration as soon as they can. As far as the political side is concerned, though, I think the main issue is that it reopened a lot of wounds from Hurricane Sandy. It was a big thing a couple of days ago. They were talking about it because, I would say 90% of Texas legislators voted against the Sandy relief package for Jersey and New York, and they cited, it's like, oh, there was a lot of bullshit, it's like a lot of money that wasn't going to be going to the relief effort, but in reality, if we're really just going to cut the bullshit here, is because Governor Christie gave Barack Obama a hug and said nice things about a Democratic president, so I will say that while we are focused on relief efforts for Hurricane Harvey, and we all humble and honest Americans don't want to see their fellow Americans thrown under the bus, I will say that from a political standpoint, it's a two-way street. So common folks, us, like we want to do better and we want to help each other out, but honestly, like a little consistency among state lawmakers would be appreciated. I mean, that's really all I wanted to say.
Yeah. Definitely consistency. They need to... I completely, absolutely agree 100%. Like, you can't flip-flop on shit like this. Ugh, so sorry. My nose is really bothering me right now. Yeah.
It's no worries, but I've definitely seen, the photos just are absolutely insane. The fact that it went from because I was getting alerts on the storm over the weekend before it even made landfall. So it went from a tropical depression to a Category 1 to a Category 3 in less than 24 hours. I mean, that was insane. And then the fact that it's still dumping water on you guys, is going to go back out to ocean and then come back to dump more water is just that. It's fucking crazy. That's like Katrina 2.0. It's literally just like the sequel from hell, where it just goes right back out and it comes back and it's even more pissed off than before.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what that does is it gives them a predictable model for anything else that might come up. Because I really doubt that Harvey's sapped all that energy out of the ocean right there. So anything that forms in that area or has that same projected path, in theory, could follow the same strengthening pattern.
I mean, that's a fair point. I mean, my main concern is with long-term rescue operations right now, because that was another story that was a huge issue. Like, they threw, I forgot the dude's name, Olstein, some church dude. They were trying to throw this motherfucker under the bus because his church was like in a flood zone and he didn't open up. Where, and it's one of those things where it ties right back into the whole politicizing, because a lot of these hit pieces, a lot of the negative press is coming from folks who have already had bones to pick with their various establishments since like day one. And what people need to understand here is they need to just take a breath, take a step back and let people do their job. Okay, folks were harping on President Trump, because it's like, oh, he's not at the disaster zone, he doesn't give a shit. It's like, they need to just understand, right? So let's say we're still in a recovery process, all right? There's still being rescue operations. They're still trying to get people from their houses that have no idea where these people are. They're still dealing with shelters. They're still dealing with weather. Let's say if the president rolls in, which he has, right? Now you need a law enforcement detail. Now you need long-term security. Now you need a permanent location to house him and his staff. Resources that would otherwise be dedicated to the rescue effort. Okay, there's a reason why folks who are at the executive level who make these types of decisions really wait like at least 2 weeks before they make any type of statement, right? But right out the gate, you got the governor freaking, doing press conferences in front of a shelter that is still in service. They don't need these types of distractions, right? And it's a whole lot of bullshit that's taking away from the job, and I think that's the biggest casualty right here. You have not enough effort that's being focused just to getting as many people out as they can, and just completely, they really just need to put the politics aside. Don't worry about the fucking votes. Don't worry about an image, and just let people do their job.
Yeah. So what do you think about President Trump? Like, he finally, or I shouldn't say finally, but he landed down in Corpus Christi today. Like, what do you think about him waiting until today to come down to Texas? Do you think that was a smart move by him? So that way, during the first couple of days, they can, like, focus on rescue efforts and damage control and evacuating people? Or do you think he should have come down sooner? Or do you think he should have waited a couple more days?
Here's the thing, right? Trump is damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. Okay, the man has, and to be fair, you would be hard pressed to find another sitting president that has taken as much abuse as he, even with President Obama. Okay, you have not had, constant attacks from the media, constant attacks from protesters and other groups, right, that have been so concerned with getting this dude out of office for whatever reason. Okay, so if he waited, if he was going to, honestly, I would have preferred it if he would have given it at least a minimum of 2 weeks, right? Because Hurricane Harvey, let's say, I think, it was this past weekend, so it's like a week and a half. So right around the money. So there's 1 week, right? Just allow the responders, just to focus on the job at hand. And to be honest, I'm happy that he waited. Okay, I'm sure that there was somebody in the White House that was tapping this dude on the shoulder. It's like, let people do their job. Just chill the fuck out, right? But eventually, the pressure, because this dude's on social media, whether it's a tweet, whether it's some type of alert, this dude has to get in front of a camera. So I would have liked it if he would have just waited a few more days. But to be honest, because like I said, it's resources that you're taking away from the rescue effort. Doesn't matter where he's going to land in Texas, okay? This is a statewide event.
Yeah. Well, it's not just statewide anymore. It's national now because we've got National Guards coming in from Florida and, right here in Texas. The entire Texas National Guard has been activated for this. There's Coasties coming in from Miami. So it's no longer just a state thing. And, it's becoming more of a national, I guess, crisis response.
Yeah. And you definitely hit the nail right on the head. So eventually, it would not have been an issue for the president to come in because that's what presidents do, right? They do a show of force. They come in. It's like, hey, didn't forget about you guys. However, it's just a combination. The dude's he's facing too much pressure at the White House, from basically everyone to just do something. Mm-hmm. So any type of incident, this dude is going to want to get out in front as quickly as possible and just to at least try and be reassuring, which I credit him for. But it's one of those things where it's like you're taking away from folks that still have a job to do, okay? It's not like the situation is under control, okay? We still have rainfall. We still have folks that are trapped inside their homes. We still have shelters that need to be tended to. You have a laundry list of jobs that are nowhere near being completed because the storm is nowhere near being over. So once you settle those conditions and you can establish some type of, fail-safe where it's like, okay, now we can focus on press conferences and information packages because the hardest part is already done, right? Mm-hmm. The worst is behind us. But the fact is it isn't. So you're still evacuating people. The dude has, do a press conference from the White House. If you want to get out in front of a camera, stay in D.C., let Texas people handle their shit, and if it gets worse than that, then we go. Okay? It's no matter what the pressure is, you can't take away from the job, right? And that's the point.
I agree, but I also disagree with you on that, in that if he had stayed in the White House and just had done a press conference from there, the media would have lost their goddamn minds about how, he doesn't really fucking care about this country. Look at him. He stays in the White House while Texas goes through this on their own. He should be down there in Texas helping. So, I feel kind of it's kind of like a damned if he does, damned if he doesn't type of situation.
Exactly. But here's the thing. If it is damned if you do and damned if you don't, and I think we already kind of understand that the media is going to drag him through the mud no matter what the circumstances are.
Damned if he does, damned if he doesn't.
If you're at that point, then fuck the media, okay? Do what is best for the folks at the front line, okay? And if for whatever reason that he picked up the phone and the governor was like, yeah, no, we could definitely use you, come on through, then I'll bite my tongue. But I doubt that's what happened. I'm sure this dude was like, we got to get ahead of the situation, not even poll numbers, but it's like, I don't think he should be focusing on the media when the media has already made it their agenda to throw this man under the bus at every available opportunity. At that point, just focus on doing the job and focus on letting others do the job.
I don't think he's focused on the media. Like, he's proven time and time again, he doesn't fucking care what they have to say about him. But I do think that he
doesn't. I mean, and this is one of my things where it's like he's gotten so much free press out of it, especially when he was running during the campaign. It's almost like a dysfunctional relationship that's codependent on each other, right? This dude relies on the media coverage whenever he goes to the rallies, to try and garner support, and when he's talking to folks. Well, at the same time, if you take away Trump and the 24-hour news cycle, your CNN, MSNBC, doesn't matter what channel it is, what the fuck else are they going to report on? Right? Yeah. This dude has been feeding them story after story after story. It's like they're addicted to it. Like they're fucking drunk off of the next Trump story. That's gonna keep them. That's gonna keep the numbers flowing and the commercials airing for the next 24 hours until the next Trump story comes and they're just gonna peddle this shit. So it's not that he's necessarily concerned with the media, but it's like he doesn't need to be. Like, he's in this, okay? These two are going to be intertwined for the next 4 years, right? He made that call when he decided to launch his campaign as he did, just like indiscriminately targeting every other conservative. It's like, oh no, it's like he played the asshole, and he played the perfect asshole, and the media loved it. They built him up like that, and that's how he won. That's how he won the presidency, and it's like now he's dealing with that as a president for the rest of his term. Like they're a bitter couple that just like they hate each other's guts, but they will never divorce.
I can see that, but at the same time, I think he enjoys playing with them. He knows how to push. He knows how to push their buttons. Did you see his press conference from last Tuesday? Did you watch that?
I did not.
Oh my God, was that fucking entertaining? When he is down in Phoenix, holy shit! It was fucking.
I heard that's the one where he went on like a rant for like an hour.
Oh yeah. But like, and he fucking targeted the media, and he's like, these guys are, I'm gonna paraphrase, but like, these hookers are going ape shit over everything I fucking say, and they just don't like it because I'm talking like speaking truths. And then he calls him out. He's like, look at that. They don't want me to be on fucking air right now while I say all this shit. They're turning their goddamn cameras off. Again, I'm paraphrasing. He didn't actually say it like that, but this is my version.
Would have been great if he did.
Yeah.
Oh, it would have been fucking awesome.
They would have lost their shit.
These motherfuckers.
Well, yeah, and I'll tell you, like it's gotten to a point now where it's just like ridiculous. I mean, they won't even talk about it. And if there's one thing, okay, I'll be honest, like, I didn't even vote for the dude, and I understand the bullshit. Like, these dudes, like, this establishment is fucking insane if they're gonna, it's like they don't even vet their sources at this point. Any dude, some fucking homeless dude off the street could be like, I have a secret classified memo that will totally make Trump look illegal. They're going to pay this, it's like they will suck that dude a dick just to get that information, regardless of having it double-checked or triple-checked. That's standard operating procedure for any credible journalistic agency, right? As, the fact that you've had as many people turning in their resignations, no longer able to work at the New York Times or CNN because it's like, oh, you didn't check that source, then you just tried to say that the president enjoys golden showers while trying to lock up some multi-billion-dollar deal with the Russian government. Like, you didn't think at any point that you needed to double-check your source to make sure that at least a part of that was true. It's like, just get the fuck out of here.
Right.
It's insane. But I'll tell you what, I have kept you guys on the air long enough. Just wanted to say my 2 cents, and you guys have a good night, all right?
All right, you too. Have a good evening, Park Ranger.
All right.
Bye. Friggin'. I liked that call. Mostly because I don't know, I like discussing shit like that. But, and like seeing where they're coming from, and then I can be like, I don't agree with you. However, like I do on this point, where we can be fucking adults and have differences of opinions, but still like respect each other for, being a person. Unlike this group called the anti-fascist group.
Oh fuck!
I'm using air quotes on this because heavily, I'm speaking in heavy sarcasm right now, in that they call themselves anti-fascist. Like, I don't understand that, because they're using fascist techniques, and like, I get it, like, nobody likes Nazis, and they're like, targeting anyone who's fucking to the right of the political spectrum. Like, they're targeting anyone to the right of like Maxine Waters, right? Who's like extreme left. So like literally everybody else they're fucking targeting and saying that, oh, you're a fucking neo-Nazi. It's like, I'm really not, though. Which I like to point out that they're the ones using Nazi tactics and tendencies. But, this tea tastes so good.
It's delicious. So, it always blows my mind, like this most recent one at Berkeley and whatnot, where they try to shut down all these things with this hate and whatnot. I would really like to know what would happen if, like, an individual were to register to have a public speaking engagement or whatever, or a public speaking item, and all they were doing is reading the Constitution of the United States.
Yeah.
Which is why I read the preamble.
Yeah, no. Because they don't...
what they would say?
Huh?
I wonder what they would say to that.
To the preamble of the Constitution?
Yeah, if you were to just go out there and start reading the Constitution verbatim, starting with the preamble and going down through all the articles, what would their reaction be to that? Would they immediately jump to, that's hate speech?
Probably. It would probably be like, oh, this is hate speech. You're a fucking Nazi. You're a white supremacist. The Declaration of Independence was written by white supremacists who owned slaves. You're a fucking slave, driver. And it's, this latest, I want to call them the party because they're acting on behalf of the thought police. They're attacking these people for expressing, their First Amendment rights, which is freedom of speech, by using violence and shit. And that's something the fucking SS would fucking do in Nazi Germany. You're calling us Nazis because we happen to be middle or to the right of the political spectrum, but you're the one fucking acting like Nazis. Does anybody else see the irony in this, or am I just fucking am I the only one? And they're talking about burning books and shit, and I'm like, oh wait, that's another thing that the fucking Nazis did. They held book burnings, so that way you only thought what they allowed you to fucking think. But then at this latest rally or counter protest thing that erupted in violence, they were shouting out something like "No Trump." There's another thing, and then "No USA." And it's okay, so you no longer want the United States to be the United States and afford us all of these freedoms that we've had since we became a nation. But okay, and it's so frustrating, and they're holding up communist fucking flags and shit, and it's we literally fought a war against communism. A lot of the world was involved. Did we not learn about this in fucking school anymore? It's technically, it was called the Cold War. And You know, and it's just like, you know, I kind of want to take all these people to fucking, not even like, you know, just East Germany, but like, let's just fucking go to Berlin. One, it's a fucking awesome city, but two, you can clearly see to this day the fucking distinction between the capitalist side and the communist side, and how much further advanced West Berlin was compared to East Berlin. Like,
so I saw that something similar when I was in Bosnia in 2002. And you had the Federation, which was Bosnia and Herzegovina, and then you had the Republic of Srpska, which was the RS. And this was no more apparent, kind of like what you were saying in Berlin. It was in Sarajevo. Like, literally, you could drive down one of the roads, and the RS would be on one side, and the Federation would be on the other. And you can tell who didn't have corrupt politics. Because the side without corrupt politics had rebuilt buildings, had nice shops. You could walk around and get, shop and eat and do all these things. And then you looked at the RS side. Oh, again, this when I was there, it may have changed. This is 15 years ago. Holy shit. But
You're
all their
old.
buildings were still bullet-ridden and torn up, and they were still trying to reconstruct things from the war itself.
yeah.
But the money wasn't flowing per se from the politicians. But they were corrupt as shit. So they had money and their stuff was nice, but nobody else did.
Yeah.
But it was literally night and day driving through Sarajevo.
Yeah, no, and like I did a walking tour. It was a 12-hour walking tour of Berlin, and like as soon as you crossed over from like west to east, it was completely different. Like you said, like just in the building structures, like these buildings still had bullet holes and shrapnel holes in them from World War II after being fucking bombed and shit. West Berlin had art. Like just something as simple as fucking street art compared to East Berlin, which had, quote, art, but it was like fucking propaganda showing like, oh, look at how good communism is. You know, it wasn't just street art. It wasn't someone just being able to freely express something that they have inside of them, you know?
Yep. Yeah. I know a couple of guys that were in there when the wall came, or in that area when the wall came down.
I was 3 when that happened.
It literally caught them by surprise is how he told it to me. Like, the East Germans and the Russians were completely caught by surprise on this. And for the background in those guys, it was a money maker. I mean, they walked across and they got all kinds of cool stuff. Mm-hmm. But it was just like you said. I mean, it was so night and day from the two sides when the wall came down as well.
You know, like the one side of the wall has graffiti all over it, and it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous graffiti. And then the other side, they had no man's land leading up to it. Mm-hmm. Where if they caught you trying to even get near the wall, you were fucking shot. Like, oh yeah, sign me up for that fucking living.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Right? Like, socialism's so good.
It's the bestest.
Right? Ugh. Right, exactly, Ray. With blood on the wall from the last execution. Exactly. Fucking. So before we go on break, I needed to read a like serious what the actual fuck article. In what surely the grossest use of Twitter ever, a pregnant woman has blackmailed her followers into retweeting a selfie, claiming she would have an abortion if she didn't get 4,000 of them. The selfie shows an unnamed young woman who gives her location as hell, posing before a mirror. The small swell of her pregnant belly is just visible under her long black and white dress. The controversial tweet in question gives the following sick threat. 4 months pregnant. 4,000 retweets and I won't abort it. The fucked up part about this is that baby's daddy didn't even know baby was a thing and replied, instead of letting me know it was my baby, you decided to come on Twitter with this bullshit. And then, like the classy broad that she is, she says, sorry you had to find out this way. Meh.
Wow.
Right? Like, what the actual fuck? Apparently, she ended up getting somewhere around 11,000 retweets. And Twitter is not happy about this. Like, some dude was like, this better be fake. If not, see a therapist. And another person was like, so the amount of retweets you get determines whether or not your baby has a life. Parenting at its finest.
Yeah, you would hope that, this goes back to a conversation we had several weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago, about the state stepping in on certain things.
Uh-huh.
And this would be one of those times when I would agree with that, that the state needs to step in immediately after the birth of the child. Yeah.
Right? Oh my God. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, what the... Like, honestly, what the actual fuck is going on with all of that?
Yeah.
I fucking want off this planet. I want off, and I want off now.
This is why I hate people sometimes.
Seriously. But yeah, so we're going to take a small break, and we shall be back here in like 8 minutes. So hang tight, everybody, and we'll see you here soon.
Betrayed me like a kid for a living, like I'm cold with no heart, a brain with no thoughts, a body with no feeling, a life with no cause.
Like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see, and like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see, and like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. I'm damned if I do, and damned if I don't. It's like every single time I say what's on my mind, they go for my throat, they spew evil words. A few are absurd, always grinding, grinning, and killing my soul with these verbs. Hold me down, like I can't gasp for air. I'm closed inside of a box, like I'm inside Fort Knox. Every time that I'm there, I don't know why they think that I'm different from you. All that's true is I'm a like human. You breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see, and like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see, and like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see, and like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see, and like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human.
state line. It's a daily ritual, this game I play. In the life of a shadow man with a debt to pay. Hit the gravel with my hand on the radio. Here I am again, driving on the road to nowhere. My mouth is blurry and my vision's dry. I'm looking at the world through every bloodshot eyes. It's a daily ritual, this game I play. In the life of a shadow man with a debt to pay. Hit the gravel with my hand on the radio. Here I am again, driving on the road to nowhere. Just like this life that I lead, it might not take me anywhere. But I was born to travel along this lonely road to nowhere. Hit the gravel with my hand on the radio. Here I am again. Just like this life that I lead, it might not take me anywhere. But I was born to travel along this lonely road to nowhere.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
All right, and we're back after our short little break.
It's short. That's about average, right?
Well, yeah, it's average. Whatever, same thing.
Okay.
Welcome back, everybody, for part 2 of Tied Up Tuesday. So, right?
Heard this.
So, as it says in the description, we are going to talk about the only fat person in North Korea. So, there's that.
Raf Out Loud.
Raf Out Loud.
Right. So for those of you who may have not heard, got a news article pulled up here real quick. North Korean fired a missile and it flew over Japan before falling into the Pacific Ocean. That's the big ocean between us and Asia, for those of you that are not aware. South Korean military official told NBC News that the missile was fired around 5:57 a.m. local time on Tuesday. The official said that the missile flew for about 2,700 kilometers. That's 1,678 miles, y'all, reaching a maximum altitude of 342 miles. U.S. Pacific Command projected that the missile splashed down at 6:29 a.m. local time. Later Tuesday, Abe said the missile was an unprecedented, serious, and grave threat to Japan. The Japanese Prime Minister said that he would ask the United Nations to to put the pressure on Pyongyang. Japanese broadcaster NHK reported that the Japanese government warned that a North Korean missile was headed towards the Tohoku region at the northern end of the country. NHK also reported that Japan took no action to shoot down the missile. So, I'll stop the story right there.
Okay.
Then it goes back into the reaction from the two different stock markets and all that other stuff. And then I got another couple pieces. So here we go. That's so usually when they launch, they just launch it willy nilly, I would think. I'm not sure if they want to send that message because if it flies, the distance is quite short in relative terms.
It is, but it's not, because this is the first one where they've actually shot it over Japan and not just into the sea of Japan.
Right.
So this is the first time they've gotten kind of froggy and said, hey, look, we can overshoot Japan. So now Japan's got to be on high alert, because obviously if they can shoot over Japan, they can hit Japan.
Right.
So that's not good.
Right. And this form of saber rattling's been going on for quite some time. I mean, when I was there in Japan, the saber rattling was quite. It happened, but not quite as often as this. I mean, I took part in some of those joint exercises they're talking about between us and the Japanese, and us and the Korean Army. So to see saber rattling around those times is not unusual. What is unusual, from my foxhole, my take, is the amount of saber rattling and the severity of it that is starting to take place as these exercises are going forward. Now, what does that actually mean for readiness either on the peninsula and or on the island of Japan? It means a couple things. I mean, it's certainly something that everybody needs to be concerned about. However, there's really nothing that would indicate that there's an imminent threat to Korean, U.S., or Japanese forces at this time. We would hope that we are good enough to have a little bit of warning prior to an imminent threat. But with all things considered, and the saber rattling and the most recent missile test that just happened, we don't fucking know.
What do you mean by saber rattling?
Saber rattling is that show of force that, look, I have toys, and I want to try and provoke you. So they're doing things that would get people fired up by basically, rather than a saber saying, I can do this to you if we want to. I.e., they can fire a ballistic missile that traveled 1,678 miles, and it splashed down in the Pacific Ocean. Okay. To continue with the story, they do quote in here that if they wanted to target Guam, the missile would need to travel some 3,500 kilometers, an equivalent of 2,175 miles. And I don't know if they've displayed that yet from a missile with that kind of distance.
It doesn't. They haven't, not yet. But this one, it's gotten closer to that distance than any of the others they have fired. And
right. I want the nation. Let me reach out to the nation here. If you guys can find one of the other missile tests, there's one that actually that had possible ballistic capabilities that had everybody worried, because a ballistic missile has different characteristics than an intercontinental missile. So, yeah. I do know they're worried about that just because of the altitude that the missile reached.
Yeah. Like Kaz said, one, it demonstrates that they are able to hit many of our allies now. And then two, just so people have kind of an understanding of, how far away this missile went. He said it's like firing a missile from Houston, Texas, and hitting Billings, Montana. So, just
What
to
did
give
Houston
everyone,
do? What did Billings, Montana do to Houston?
dude, I don't know, but they
Thanks for the
fucking
rain.
probably did something. I don't know what Houston or what Billings, Montana would have done. Does it matter? It's fucking Montana.
It's big and open.
I mean, exactly. Not a lot of people are going to get affected. Now, if it was the other way, if it was Billings firing against Houston, then yeah, no, I would get very concerned. And another size comparison that I kind of found out today. Just so everyone understands, like, the size, just the sheer size of the city of Houston. It is as big as the state of Delaware and Massachusetts. Like, not combined, but, like, each of those. Like, that's ridiculous for one fucking city. Like, I get it. Everything in Texas is bigger, but goddamn. Like, ridiculous. Like, I do know it's the 4th largest city in the United States, but fuck. Like, there's a loop. What is that? Is it the 425 that, like, circles around Houston? Anyway, it is 170 miles around, which means there's like 2,200 some odd like square miles inside of just this freeway loop. Like, it's fucking huge. It's huge.
Huge.
It's huge.
Huge.
But more, okay, no, back to this fucking fat Korean.
Hey, just because he eats more stuff doesn't make him wrong.
You mean more than everybody else in his fucking country combined?
You don't know that.
I mean, judging from his size, no, we kind of do. True story. But yeah, so President Trump has warned North Korea that all options are on the table after they fired this missile over Japan. He says it was particularly provocative as it was North Korea's first. This one was North Korea's first ballistic missile to fly over Japan. Kim Jong-un's regime regularly fires missiles into the sea of Japan, but not over Japan. On Wednesday morning local time, over at North Korea, their news agency KCNA acknowledged the missile launch, reporting that the North Korean leader guided the launch of the Hwasong 12 Hwasong intermediate range ballistic missile over Japan. That's just a funny word. Hwasong.
Fun.
Officials summarized the media reports to CNN in North Korea, saying the launch was overseen by the dictator, who was, quote, very satisfied with the performance of the missile, unquote. They said the launch was a strong message in response to the ongoing joint U.S.-South Korean military exercise on the southern half of the Korean peninsula. They added the launch was the first of its kind into the Pacific Ocean and was a prelude to more military options aimed at Guam, with more launches planned in the future. It was also carried out on the 107th anniversary of the annexation of Korea by Japan in 1907. Learn new things every day. Wait, hold on. That's wrong math.
Mm-hmm.
That 110th. Like, this is what happens when you have a communist country. You don't fucking know how to count.
You don't math.
You don't fucking math well. And, like, I don't fucking math well either. Mostly because I hate math. But it's 110th. Because it's 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Which is 110 years after 1907.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm no genius. However,
come on.
You're Asian, ergo your math is supposed to be like on point. Like I know I'm sounding like probably being like, you know, stereotypical and racist at the same time. However, Asians are supposed to be good at math. Like that's a thing. Like that's what they're known for. Like bad driving and good at math. It's true.
Oh my god, that's terrible.
What?
Nothing.
I didn't
So
say anything.
So we'll talk about this real quick. While we're here, is this goes back to a conversation we had several weeks ago on Source Time, and Doc Mattis was in on that too, about reserving first strike capability.
Okay. Go on.
Sorry, I needed a sip of scotch. So, if with Trump saying that all options are back on the table, which I don't think in reality, I don't think he ever took anything off the table. But the first strike capability, again, is something that is not taken very lightly. And we would really need to have undeniable proof that there was an imminent strike coming against the U.S. or our allies to invoke a first strike. It can be viewed either way, and it didn't matter. It would not matter which way it would go, whether it be retaliatory or a first strike. This president would be in the wrong. Period. Everybody knows that. Everybody's expecting that. However, we don't know what we don't know in dealing with this situation. So to rule out a first strike altogether, we really can't. And to only rely on being retaliatory and doing what we need to do when we need to do it could cost us many, many lives.
I'm so sorry. I was just sneezing like the entire time. I'm so sorry. Dude, fuck allergies.
Allergies are bad, okay?
Okay. But yeah, no. Keep going. I'm so sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
So it all comes back to, would this president be willing to execute first strike? 1. 2, what is the fallout to that, either a first strike or retaliatory strike, bringing us into another conflict? Whereas we are still stretched thin across the board in Afghanistan and semi-committed in Iraq. And then with going back to, what was that? That was last week? Week before last. When Trump addressed, it was last Monday, when Trump addressed the nation.
That was last Tuesday.
Yeah,
oh, wait.
No, last Monday.
Oh, okay. The other
when he was measuring all that tone. Again, that goes back to that whole thing about that, when he was willing to recommit troops to Afghanistan. He did not give a number. He did not give a timeline. That's his right as commander-in-chief, and that's something only him and the SecDef should be discussing. Now, with that being said, and this most recent incident with North Korea about the missile firing, could he have to rethink the strategy in Afghanistan, the strategy in Iraq, and the current size of the forces, and reallocate money and resources to possibly be ready for a conflict on the peninsula?
I'm sorry.
Speak up.
I'm just saying, but if we did do that, don't we have the whole South Korean army at our back too? It wouldn't just be us.
No, that's true, but we would need to commit additional forces to support that fight.
Yes, and with that being said, aren't we rotating, additional forces in and out of Korea now? And I mean, I'm not an expert anymore because, I don't pay that much attention. I'm not going to lie. Once I retired, I kind of took a step back about caring about it. But I do know that we are doing that. And I know I agree, we had our stretch then. I mean, I even can still see that. But again, the South Korean army is not small. Wouldn't we have their entire backing if we did that?
No, we
would
would
not need to
that would be
commit just
that
our
would be
forces.
a joint venture, as one way to put it. It'd be a joint venture.
Sorry, go back to my corner here.
No, you're fine.
You're good. It would be, yes, we would have the Rock Army with us and going forward. However, we would still be committing additional forces. I do understand that there's a rotation that goes on right now. However, I do not know the size of that element. I think it's a brigade on average that rotates in and out, but that's not a standing force. They're possibly supplementing a little bit of what's on the ground, but we would need to commit to support that fight. Hold on. Doc's got a question in the mixer chat.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Doc, that's not true.
We are under a treaty to protect Japan.
We have a SOFA and a treaty with them, and we will come to their aid.
Yeah, they can only have defensive forces. They're because of Pearl Harbor.
Because of Article 9 in their Constitution, they're not allowed to have an army or a military. They have what's called a self-defense force is what they have. So when they deployed forces to Afghanistan a while back, it was a really, really big deal because that's the first time since World War II that they had forces forward of Japan.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a huge thing that so with Abe being in charge, that they want to change. There's a big push over there in the it's very politically sensitive about changing their constitution to Article 9. We will come to the aid of Japan. Period. And they would not be a part of NATO because NATO is a North Atlantic Treaty Organization. So I'm not sure they would be a part of that because they're in the Pacific.
Friggin'.
Yeah, Falcon 34. Yeah, it's a huge difference. They can defend themselves, but they are not allowed to go on the offensive. Again, that's what they want to change in their constitution, which would allow them to have an actual military, and they could have technically it would have an offensive capability at that point. Right now, they are limited to defensive only.
Doc says NATO has several countries not in the North Atlantic. The U.S. isn't in the... it technically is in the North Atlantic. The U.S. is.
We own everything, Doc. Don't judge.
Right? Maine is in the North Atlantic. So...
We own it.
Right? What?
Falcon, it's a part of their posture, and I don't think they're as robust as ours, obviously. But they couldn't go on the offensive, and they would not be allowed to come to our aid, which is something that's currently being worked in there in some political wrangling, as you were out there in Japan. It's I forget how they word it, but it's the mutual aid for the self-defense of Japan, or something like that. Basically, they don't want to be completely reliant on the U.S. anymore for their own safety and defense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So another thing that's coming out of South Korea in regards to the fat North Korean, like honestly, he's an Asian Cartman. He really is. He's an Asian Cartman. But man, God,
Respect my authority.
right? Respect my authority, man. Like fuck. Like every time I see his like picture, all I think of is Cartman from that episode when they were doing World of Warcraft. Ma'am, the bucket.
The bucket.
Ew. Ugh. It's disgusting. But anyways, apparently his wife, who's actually really pretty, but she looks miserable. I mean, she has to fuck him, so I would be miserable too. Like, just throwing that out there. Like, she's got a gorgeous face. Apparently, she gave birth to another child yesterday. No reports yet on if Asian Cartman has a male heir yet or not. So far, apparently, numbers 1 and 2 have both been girls. And, you know, dictatorship. Obviously, he can't pass that down to a daughter because, you know, we're like property. Let's face it. Women are property. Repeal the 19th. I'm going to start that up.
Oh, God.
Women should not be allowed to work or leave the house or vote like we have fucking opinions. God damn, what were we thinking?
But so Falcon agrees with you, and I quote, "Girls suck." Well, if you find the right one, Falcon, they will. Yes.
Oh, phrasing.
That's allowed. I'm sorry. Gray Cloud, you are in violation of the
Gray
statute.
Cloud. What is with you? So feisty. Like, that's my job. But yeah, so according to according to South Korea, like a South Korea spy, which, you know.
Sorry.
What?
An Asian version of James Bond was running through my head. Sorry.
Yeah, apparently his wife had another kid, and they're thinking she got pregnant somewhere around February when she stopped being seen and or photographed. Somehow they've been married for 8 years already and have 2 other children born in 2010 and 2013. There's no information on the name or the sex of the baby, so it remains unknown if Kim has a son that would continue his family's dictatorship dynasty that is now into its 3rd generation. Kim Jong-un is the 3rd in a familial line of North Korean dictators stretching back to his grandfather, Kim Il-sung, who founded the state in 1948 and led the invasion of South Korea in 1950, sparking the Korean War. But according to a close Kim family friend known as Dennis Rodman, it is strongly believed that his second child is a girl.
Because that's a reliable source, Dennis Rodman.
Dude, I don't understand how he is so popular over in North Korea. I don't understand.
Oh, man.
What are you fuckers doing?
It's interesting that he can get over there. That's all I'm going to say.
Right? Do you see my dogs? Like, they're fucking... Ugh. Oh, stop shaking. Jenna, stop it. Thank you.
So it was a war between the Koreas.
Oh.
But it was a conflict for us because there was never any stated war, and technically it's a ceasefire at the moment, or an
That's
armistice, as it were, whatever you want to call it.
That's true. I mean, technically, you know.
Technically, we're still they are still at war.
Yes.
Or in conflict.
Right. I mean, I would call it the Korean War instead of a Korean conflict, only because I'm biased because my grandpa fought in the Korean War, so I'm calling it the Korean War. And it's called the Korean War, like, memorial, not the Korean conflict memorial.
It's true. I think we'd all have a grandfather or grandmother that was in either Korea and or Nam.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So, anyways, but yeah, so it poses a very interesting dynamic for that part of the. Not only are guys there that are in within missile reach, but it also tends to affect policy here in the U.S. on how to go forward, because there are other major political players like China and Russia that are in the region who could back the North, and then there's also the Iran thing to contend with, and their technology sharing that's happening.
And no, Falcon, I saw your comment earlier in the Mixer chat. No, I'm not picking my nose every time I switch out split screen. I'm actually like sneezing and or blowing my nose. So I'm not actually like digging for nose gold. I'm trying to shoot it out.
Thank you for that visual.
Oh, you're welcome. You're so welcome.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Anyways, back on the farm.
Back on the farm?
Mm-hmm.
What? You have a farm?
No.
Well, why would you talk about a farm if you don't have a farm? Did you have goats? Oh my God, did you have goats?
No, never had goats. I had Holsteins growing up.
They're spanky.
Was there goats?
No, Holsteins are cows that produce milk.
Oh, you had cows?
Yes, I had a dairy farm.
Oh, I've got like second and or third cousins who own a dairy farm in California.
Well, that makes them not a very good dairy farm then.
Why would you say that? That's rude.
Because they're in California.
Rude. So rude.
I heart you still.
Aw. Exactly, Spanky. I got excited too. I was like, oh, goats! But cows are cute too, like when they're little and they're fluffy. I will say though that it took me a long time to eat veal after visiting that
veal's so
dairy
delicious.
farm. I know. No, I realize that, but it took me a long time, like, because when I had visited this dairy farm in Central California, one of the cows had literally just given birth right before we got there, and it was a boy. And so then they immediately grabbed it and put it into a box. And they're like, yeah, we're going to ship him off so he can be, like, turned into food. And I was like, what?
So
I think I was like 11, and I was like scarred for a long time, and I refused to eat veal until I was, I don't know, like 22. And then I was like, oh, it's so good.
It is. The problem with veal is it's only flavored with what it's cooked with. Because there's no fat development, there's no fatty tissues for flavoring. So it only gets flavor from what it's cooked with, if that makes any sense.
Kind of.
Doc, I agree with you. Pulling a calf is fucking sucky and hard work.
Yeah, I've never had to do that. I've only ever had to like pretend like I was milking a cow. I couldn't do it. They're like, yeah, just grab one and fucking do this. And I was like, oh, okay. And I did it and nothing came out. And I was like, well, I suck.
Phrasing. Anyway, so I found a pretty cool story real quick. Granted, it's about one of our we'll call it the sister service.
Oh.
Air Force Tech Sergeant, first enlisted female to pilot aircraft. Ooh.
Wait.
The Air Force, huh?
Wait, an enlisted person is piloting an aircraft.
Yeah, well, technically it is an aircraft.
Oh, it's a drone.
It's an RQ-4.
Which is a drone? I don't know what that is.
Which is the Global Hawk, yeah.
Oh. Congratulations for flying a plane in a video game.
Now they do some cool things and stuff.
They consider themselves deployed when they sit inside an air-conditioned room in Vegas.
Now, that one I don't agree with. I remember when that whole controversy came up, and they wanted to award them the Xbox medal.
Right? It's like, you play a video game from a room in Vegas.
That quickly got shot down. No pun intended.
Right?
But yeah, let's see here. So, just a real quick recap. Only because Air Force Tech Sergeant, first enlisted female to pilot the aircraft. Okay, technically it is an aircraft. We'll give it that much. And they're not cheap aircraft. Let's be real. They're a couple $1 million a pop. Let's see here. So, Tech Sergeant Courtney. That's it. Mission at Beale Air Force Base. Courtney of Vacaville, California native who enlisted in 2005, graduated this month from the enlisted pilot initial class program alongside 3 others to become an RQ-4 Global Hawk drone pilot without ever actually stepping foot inside one. Courtney is a part of the Air Force's expanded remote pilot aircraft program that trains enlisted airmen to operate the unarmed high-altitude reconnaissance drones. Oh, she doesn't even pull the trigger on anything. No, that's an MQ-1 Predator. From this station, I'm in full control of the aircraft, constantly knowing what the aircraft is doing, where it's heading, she said, from Beale Air Force Base. Through her 11-year career, Courtney has worked a number of roles in the intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance fields, and this will be her biggest task yet. And I'll end the story there. If you guys want it, it's on Fox News, blah, blah, blah. But it, as I'm scrolling through news and whatnot, I mean, it's to be a first in anything or a first whatever is usually a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
So, congrats to her and her becoming the first female pilot for the Global Hawk.
Right? That's awesome.
And that's what won that one on.
Wait, is she the first female or the first enlisted female?
First enlisted female. Okay. Apologies. First enlisted female to pilot the Global Hawk.
I mean, I've piloted my Hydra on Grand Theft Auto. And that's... is that the same thing?
We know.
It's kind of the same thing, right?
A
little. They both cost like millions of dollars.
Yeah.
One is like
infantry
Xbox.
The same as what is it? Fucking whatever that fucking game is.
Grand Theft Auto?
No, fucking Call of Duty. That's what it is. I'm good at Call of Duty. Should I join the army?
Right? If you die, you respawn. It's
true. Yeah, last place to save, right?
It happens. It's a thing.
Yeah, where's Doc Manus when we need him for that?
Right? Doc Manus is pretty good at respawning people. True story. He is.
Yes, he is.
So, do you remember a couple months ago? Oh, ow. The fuck was that for? Sorry, Apollo just decided to put my foot into his mouth. I'm not into that. Don't.
Jesus.
My whole foot was just in there, and I'm So, what
They
just
got nothing.
happened?
Anyways, continue.
When you remember that washed up female comedian who's a redhead, Kathy Griffin?
Oh, Lord.
Apparently, she is now upset that she is no longer the center of attention and is no longer being talked about because she has made headlines again for revoking her apology for the decapitated Donald Trump photo shoot while promoting her overseas tour. So 3 months after apologizing for a photo shoot in which she held up a fake decapitated head of President Trump, Kathy Griffin said she wants to take that back. Quote, "I am no longer sorry. The whole outrage was bullshit. The whole thing got so blown out of proportion. I lost everybody. I had Chelsea Clinton tweeting against me." Unquote. Griffin complained in an interview with Seven Network in Australia, where she is on tour. Speaking to the co-host of the Nets program Sunrise, Griffin reminded that even friends like Deborah Messing criticized the stunt, adding that in addition to being fired from CNN's annual New Year's Eve special, her U.S. tour got scrubbed when venues got death threats. "These Trump fans are hardcore," she warned. When Sunrise host Samantha Armitage, Armitage? I don't know. Armitage, mentioned Clinton and Messing are not Trump fans, asking Griffin if she understood. They thought the message was over the line. Griffin shot back, quote, you are full of crap. Stop acting like my little picture is more important than talking about the actual atrocities that the President of the United States is committing. I've been talking to Australians who, for the first time, are saying we're afraid to go to America. I never thought I would hear that in my lifetime, Griffin said. She kicked off her Taking It Back tour on Monday in an interview published by New York Magazine. Among her complaints, she said CNN chief Jeff Zucker had asked her to limit the number of anti-Trump jokes at her most recent New Year's Eve co-hosting gig for the cable's news network. "Why are people still expecting me to apologize and grovel to a man that tweets like this? I'm a comedian. He's our fucking president. President Trump just pardoned Sheriff Joe, who was essentially running a concentration camp in the Arizona desert. He said there are some good Nazis, that he's kicking out young adults who were brought in here as kids by their parents. Am I the one who has to continue to apologize?" So yeah. When just 3 months ago she was like, "I sincerely apologize. I just now seeing the reaction of these images. I crossed the line. I went too far. The image is too disturbing. I understand how it offends people. I get it." Well, Kathy, you can't just fucking... what's the right phrase? You're irrelevant, so you need to stop acting and trying to be a thing because you're no longer a thing. Nobody fucking cares what you have to say. Nobody cares about you as a person. You are a ginger crypt keeper when you don't have your face all done up or a wig on. What's something else?
Did you just say a ginger crypt keeper?
Yeah. Yeah. That's what she looks like. What are you guys? Oh, I swear to God, these dogs. They're all over my bed right now, which is right there. Yeah. But yeah, fucking personally, I think what she did, and then trying to turn it around like it's all, she's the victim. Mm-hmm. Like, we get it. You just want to be a person and be relevant again. I don't know. Mm-hmm. You okay? You okay?
Yeah. And so, just real quick, going back to the Harvey stuff, the tropical storm Harvey.
Oh.
Hey, Nation, if you have not topped off your fuel tanks, you do that tomorrow. They're projecting gas to start rising because currently, what is it? 16% of the refining capability in the U.S. is offline at the moment, with a couple others starting to shut down, it looks like. And the restart, they're saying, could take quite some time, what I heard today. So it's not going to be a quick. And we all know that in times of crises and or disasters, prices jump up in a hurry and then take forever to come back down. So if you have not topped off today, you should probably do it in the morning.
Right.
Just a little food for thought there.
Right. We had someone call in. So WTF Nation Radio, you are on the air. Who's this?
This is John.
Hello, John.
Hi. So I think the main thing that we need to focus on is the fact that your co-host is the guy from Epic Mealtime.
Is what? What just happened? I'm so confused right now. Great Cloud, are you cheating on me? Are you a co-host for some other operation?
There's days, maybe, perhaps.
What the actual fuck?
You knew I was on Thursdays.
Yeah, no, I know. I agree with Falcon. Like, you gotta speak up next time, hero. What just happened? Oh well, whatever, John. So random. This is why I normally don't answer the phones. Because fucking random shit happens. I'm like, ugh. And then I don't know how to respond. Like, sometimes people are just being douchebags. And then other times, it's weird shit like that. I don't know.
So I have information about said caller. Yeah. Supposedly, what somebody else heard was he said I looked like the guy from Epic Mealtime.
Epic Mealtime.
Yes. Oh my God. If you do not know what Epic Mealtime is, Nation, Google it. They built some crazy ass shit out there.
Well, go on. What is it?
They build these monstrosities like the fast Google, pull up YouTube or Google it and look up fast food lasagna. They build these monstrosities and they I haven't seen it in a while, but they do a calorie count for these items. And we're talking the calorie count gets into the hundreds of thousands of calories.
Oh my God. Are those the guys? Oh, wait. Are those the guys who, like, made this huge fucking burger and it was, like, meat upon meat upon meat upon meat and it had, like, 32,000 calories?
Yes, those are those guys.
Oh.
Jack Daniel's sauce.
I mean, I guess you look like one of them.
Yes, so somebody listening in gave me that tidbit of information.
Interesting.
Yes. But no, Epic Mealtime is pretty awesome. I will give, if that was what the caller was saying, I will give him that. That is a fucking awesome thing to watch.
Okay,
to watch
so
them build some of that shit.
It's a good thing. Jenna, what are you doing? Friggin'. And then Zeus is like dead on the floor back there. I don't think he's really dead though. Hold on. Are you breathing? Yeah, he's breathing.
Well, it's good that he's breathing.
Yeah, well, he's my old man. I have to, make sure he didn't like actually kick the bucket. Oh my God. If that happened while I was on air, like, I'd cut the show off right now. And I'd have to go take care of him. That dog is my child. But yeah. Oh my goodness. So they're saying that somewhere around 500,000 flooded cars and trucks could be scrapped because of Hurricane Harvey.
500,000? Jesus.
500,000. They seem to be... What?
No, go ahead. You first, and then I'll capitalize.
It says they seem to be in almost every picture or video of flooded neighborhoods in and around Houston. There are scores of cars and trucks with water up to the windows and in some cases over the hood and roof. In fact, the flooding is so extensive, Cox Automotive estimates 500,000 vehicles may wind up in the scrapyard. This is worse than Hurricane Sandy, said Jonathan Smoke, chief economics for Cox Automotive. Sandy was bad, but the flooding with Hurricane Harvey could impact far more vehicles. After Hurricane Sandy battered New York and New Jersey in October 2012, an estimated 250,000 vehicles were scrapped. While the New York metropolitan area has more residents than Houston, the number of vehicles per household is much higher in Houston.
Right.
This means more cars, trucks, and SUVs were parked on the street and in garages when Harvey swamped the city and surrounding areas. With so many vehicles in the flood zone, auto insurers will be busy handling claims and cutting checks so flood victims can buy another car or truck.
Right. So the one thing I want to capitalize on that is when these vehicles go to scrap, or they get, the insurance company buys them off and then sells them to the junkyards or whatever. A lot of times, these vehicles can be repaired and whatnot, and then be resold. So, Nation, in a few months from now, if you are in that area or you see a really a deal that just seems too good to be true, be sure you pull the title history on it. Be sure you do, I hate to say this, do the one check that you always hear the jingle for.
Oh, the Carfax? Hi, Jenna.
Yep. So check on that, because the title will be a salvage title. And if it's got a salvage title, then it's not worth buying because you don't know what they actually put the money into fix. If that makes sense.
Falcon says, no, they cannot crush them. Cause says many of them go to Mexico.
I'm not saying they'd be crushed, but as they get sold off and whatnot and bought, paid out for the insurance, they have nowhere to dump them. People can go buy them and try to turn a profit on them, if that makes any sense.
It does. Friggin' and Oh, wait, hold on. Read prior comment. Which one? What? I don't know. Okay, so another thing that has been circulating on the interwebs, like another photo, which I find hilarious, is that is a picture of Obama, like, allegedly down at a shelter in Houston serving meals. Hate to break it to everybody, that picture is from a couple years ago, like 2014, 2015, something like that, when he was serving Thanksgiving dinner to people. So Obama's not down in Houston doing shit. Just gonna throw that out there. So if you see that picture and people are like, look, thanks Obama for coming to help out down in Houston, he's not fucking there. He's not.
No.
He's not there.
He is buttoned up here in the DC area.
Yeah. So, and just like that, it's time for our break. So we shall be back here again soon. And I'll probably do the same thing where I stop the feed and then restart it right before we come back on. So enjoy some songs from Your Screaming Silence and Forensic. And we'll be right back.
hero needs saving, how he needs that support to keep his roof from caving, holding tight on that 45 as a tear drops from his eye. Picturing his mom is all that's kept him alive, cause he's buried his friends and he's buried his thoughts. Suppress these demons inside until his stomach's in knots. I see you on your knees, so please let me give you help. Pick you up, lift you up and put you up. He knew when he started he'd go so far. You had a long day at work, he failed at CPR. His motivation's gone, no more fire in his eyes. Went from peaceful nights to dreams of crime scenes and cries. He never could.
This is WTF Nation Radio.
All right, and we're back for our third and final hour of Tied Up Tuesday. And Minx. And I have allergies. It's almost like saying like, hello everybody, my name is Minx and I'm an alcoholic. But it's not, because I'm not an alcoholic. I do have really bad allergies right now though. Great Cloud said bye earlier during the break. He's got homework he's gonna do, and I've decided we're gonna do fucking games tonight because I can't fucking function right now. So,
and you can do what you want.
Right? And I'm a strong independent woman who don't need no man, and I have fucking buttons that I can push and shit. I don't know. It's so bad. Oh my god, at work today, my doc, he's like, hey, I need you to unscrew this, and I'm over here like struggling to unfucking screw something, and he's just standing there and like giving me this smug look, and I was like, okay, fine, I need help. And he's like, I thought you were a strong independent woman. And I was like, shut up. Fucking ass. I did find out though, because I was not here last week, and like I work with this doc every Tuesday, and I did find out that he yelled out for me, which I'm not really sure how to take this. It was like, what? He told me this. He's like, yeah, I cried out for you last week, and I was like, wait, what? Like in the OR or like at home? Because like that's fucking weird if it was this latter one, right? Because
right?
I work with you. Like, what are you doing? But no, apparently it was at work in the OR. He was working with a different tech, and
You're his work wife.
Yeah, no, like for real, I am.
Used to you being there.
I guess he was throwing a hissy fit last week, and the tech was like, you know, like, what do you want? And he's like, I want Minx back.
I totally understand. There is a work-wife relationship.
There is.
It happens. They're used to you being there.
Mm-hmm.
I have had those kind of relationships before, and not just anybody can step into the work-wife, work-husband relationship.
No,
those things take time to build.
It's true, and like I have two work husbands, one that I work with on Monday and one that I work with on Tuesday. The one I work with on Monday, he was kind enough. Like I went and saw him like after we were done. He was kind enough to write me a prescription for a muscle relaxer. There we go. I know how to fucking talk. For my back, which has been like spasming and just a whole bunch of shit. So, ergo, why I'm on muscle relaxers now.
Well, I hope you feel better,
dude. Me too.
And I hope they work.
I've got a massage tomorrow, and I can't fucking wait. Like it's been over a year since I've had a massage, and I'm so excited. Mostly, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, between those two, it should help.
I told Ghost I was getting a massage tomorrow, and he was like, does it come with a happy ending? And I was like, I'm sure as hope fuck it does. Like it fucking better come with a happy ending, god damn it. I've seen these videos. Everyone knows what videos I'm talking about because it's always the same. Like, it's two chicks, one's massaging the other. They start, like, the masseuse starts massaging the naughty bits, and then it just turns into, like, a good time for everybody involved. So I'm assuming that's what's going to happen.
I need to go to your massage parlor. Like, PM me when you're done.
All right. I'll be like, oh, my God, get this chick. She's amazing. She does mouth stuff.
Oh, she bends the knee.
Oh my God. Hi, Apollo. You look so cute. So this is Apollo, everybody. He's my 9-month-old puppy. And he's pushing 90 pounds. But yeah. So, okay. So I'm going to get off of Facebook Live and we're going to go straight over to Mixer. Where we're going to play games. So everybody over on Mixer, get ready because I'm comings for you. Ooh, phrasing. Yeah, so everybody at Facebook Live and YouTube and Periscope, right? Yeah, right? Thanks for tuning in for Tied Up Tuesday. If you want to play along with our games, you need to go to our Mixer chat room, which is mixer.com/WTF Nation Radio. And I will see you over there in a couple minutes. Okay, bye.